Good evening, good morning, and good day. I am Dimitri, tumultuous. This is Josh, and Amicus are here with you tonight to talk about what was it that we're going to talk about?
We can talk about
Intuition.
anything. We're talking about intuition, space. We can talk about the Thunder Moon next week, which is really the Thor Moon, which is interesting.
Or
We
the
can
Buck
talk
Moon.
about really anything.
Cool. Let's start with space. Why is there combustion in space if there's no air?
Well,
How's that work?
it's not really combustion in space because there's no oxygen for it to burn. It would catalyst the gases that were actually on fire, right?
Mhm.
And then it would exhaust. And so
Okay.
let's see if we can find explosion in space. So the explosions that we see in space is really the mass spreading out of gases, which
Okay.
were compressed most likely.
So like a thruster on a ship where you will see like a little flame, so to speak. That's just the gas that was
That's the
used to
gas
expel
that's
it.
actually being expelled. And
Okay.
a lot of that CGI, that's not necessarily truth right there that you're looking at. That's like videos and movies and stuff, right?
Well, I've never seen actual combustion in space exactly. Yeah, no.
One thing that does happen though, and this is actually an account for what maybe would happen in ISS. The ISS, how it maintains orbit, is it has little spurts. I believe I don't know the gas they use, whether it's hydrogen, oxygen, or argon, or whatever it might be, but they basically push a gas out, a compressed gas, and so that gas would obviously solidify and look like dust particles as it streams by because they use that to turn and move.
Oh, so that might be
It's carbon dioxide. There you go.
that might be the dust that we saw
That might have
yesterday.
been the dust we saw.
All right.
Pretty cool. But I highly doubt it. I think they're underwater. But that's just my opinion.
But just the movement of the molecules didn't make sense. Like the movement of the way they floated by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The ambience that you had around the camera just did not make. Sorry, guys. The ambience around the camera really didn't make any sense. So, what is up?
Got it.
How we doing? So, okay, space, the final frontier.
Frontier. These are the voyagers of
Did
the
you watch
Insomniac.
Battlestar Galactica?
I have not. I did not. I dropped the ball. I shit the bed on that one. I'm going to do it today, though. I swear. The first episode, I'm going to cry. Right? I wasn't trying to cry yesterday or the other day. You know.
I'm telling you, if you get past the ending and you don't cry, you're a good man.
I don't cry. I'm a good man.
Yeah, you're cool, man.
Oh, okay.
I teared up. I was like, oh my god.
probably-
Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh my god.
I'm probably going to have that solo man tear, like just the one that goes down.
Yeah.
You know, when you like blink your eye and it's like, oh my god. Right. Okay. There we go. All right. So intuition or space. Let's do both.
Well, I
I'm
think
gonna
they're
wrap
both one and the same. Ooh.
Bazinga.
So there's actually a word in between intuition and space that brings them together that makes them the same. What is that word?
Tuition? Nanobots?
Is this one of those things where you hear that sound and it's like whatever you're thinking that moment is what you really hear? Let's try that again.
I don't know. Nano technology.
Entanglement.
Untanglement.
Oh, you should have just went like this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the universal symbol from.
You don't know. You don't know.
That's right. Well, now yeah. All right. So let's see. I have a thing here that says the 4 ways of knowing is physical appearance, associations, meaning, and spirit or essence.
Okay. So what are the 4 ways of knowing?
Apparently, well, according to this, what is intuition? This is what I typed into Google, and it says physical appearance, associations, meaning, and spirit or essence. And now experience of intuition is unpredictable and random from the first 2 and present and integrated for the second 2. Meaning it is present and integrated with meaning or spirit of essence, but it's unpredictable and random with associations and physical appearance. Which kind of confused the crap out of me right now. What the hell does that even mean?
You got to slow it down, man. You're talking a mile a minute.
Okay.
So this is saying that knowing is experience within 4 realms of possibility. This is the physical realm of possibility. This is the associative realm of possibility. This is the realm of meaning, and this is
Right.
the realm of spirit. Now, let's take this in the context. So, actually, this is actually pretty cool because this goes right along the line of something I call the should we go over this? Hold on.
Well, I mean, yeah, why not? Of course. Have we gone over it already?
No, this is probably one thing we've never talked about on any of my shows.
These are interesting. Oh, well, then, yeah. What do you mean?
Well, because we're talking about the physical and the spirit, and so this comes in the sense is that there's. Hold on, let me pull something up real quick.
I have another one too. Like it says 8 signs. It's not intuition, and it's fear.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the sense of calm and knowing is intuition, but a feeling of urgency is actually just fear. So, like like your intuition to be afraid or apprehensive of something or insecure about something.
Well, you're going deep into emotional aspect of right?
Well, we're talking about intuition. So basically, intuition is knowing without knowing what's going to happen or having a gut feeling, so to speak. So the gut feeling could be like, don't step on that curb because you're going to get hit by the bus, or the gut feeling is going to be like, she's going to have a baby. It's going to be a girl. They're going to name her Isis.
Right.
What do you? So like that was that scene with you was intuition from that person's perspective. Well, she had strong intuition to signifies that you were going to have a baby. Then you were debating upon the name, and then But then again, like she might have a different type of intuition that says don't drive out into the intersection.
So
you get hit.
So the aspect of knowing, let's start there because you're talking about the 4 different realms. So physical, and so you have associative and meaning. Now these are interesting because these are actually contained within the mental realm and the subconscious realms. Now, I actually learned something. I teach it as called I actually have a course on the social red pill. If nobody understands this, you can go to courses and there's a course on there that it's called Conquering Fear, Anxiety, and Stress. And the last one of the last things to do, it's a bonus course. It's the 4 body system, and it talks about something that I coined micro emotional stimulants.
Right.
And so, micro emotional stimulants are basically what happens in the world around you. In nature, in family, in relationships, in organization, but social media and digital technology have taken these to an extreme. So basically what a micro-emotional stimulant is something that triggers you subconsciously,
right?
But you're unconscious of it. And so basically it builds up this emotional barrier, right? So think about if your emotions were a cup, okay?
Okay.
So micro-emotional stimulants basically 1 penny for the cup, up 1 penny for the cup, up 1 penny for the cup, right? Now, here's the thing, is this is happening on social media on micro levels. And you're unconscious to how it's happening because it's happening through your peripherals and it's happening through subliminals, which means that eventually this cup will get full. When it becomes full, then you have one more micro-emotional stimulant, and they know how to time this with their algorithms, that tips you off and makes you do some type of action. And this is how they get you to buy. This is how they get you to like or post or click or do these different things. This is
so
how
they're manipulating intuition?
Well, they're manipulating emotion. And so this is an aspect of what I call the 4-body system or the 6-body system. On an advanced level, it's the 6-body system. We'll actually explain the 6-body system right here and what an intuition is, how intuition comes about, and why intuition is intuition. Okay? And actually what you can compare it to and how this all fits in with space and entanglement and all this other stuff.
Okay.
Mute that bitch. All right.
1 second.
So in our physical reality, as we as our spiritual selves, as our consciousness or whatever or whoever we are operates in this universe, there's various levels or bodies of operation. You have the first body of operation, which is your physical body, right?
Okay.
Then you have an emotional body. Okay. Then you have a mental body. Okay.
Right.
And then the 4 would just be your spiritual body.
Okay, 1 second. There you go. Much better.
Okay. Your 4th would be your spiritual body. But actually, your spiritual body is broken down into 3 bodies. Okay? The physical...
So that's the spiritual is broken down into 3, so now there's going to be 5?
No, there's going to be 6. So you have your physical, your emotional, and your mental. And then you're going to have your spiritual, your intuitive, and your conscious. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Now, listen how this comes together, because basically what you are is you're a duality. You're a walking duality of emergence, right? Coming
Right.
out. Mind is the emergent factor that comes about through the integration, the interaction, the relationship of these 6 bodies all working together. Okay? So you have your physical, your emotional, your mental, then you have your spiritual, your intuitive, and your aware or conscious field perspective, okay? Now, what does all this mean? Well, if you haven't figured it out, your physical on this 3-dimensional solid plane is equivalent to the spiritual body on your inner plane or your counter space plane.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, duality, got it.
Right. Your emotional on this physical plane is equivalent to your intuitive on that spiritual plane, on the ethereal plane. Okay?
Okay.
Whereas your conscious, right, your awareness is equivalent to your mental on this physical state. Now, it's the consciousness and the mental that come together, right, with all those other bodies, with your emotional and your intuitive and your physical and your spiritual, to produce an emergent phenomena known as mind.
Okay.
Okay. So most people only learn how to utilize their physical and mental bodies and very little their emotional bodies. And most people don't even begin to understand their spiritual, their intuitive, or their aware or conscious mind, right? So this is where this conversation gets pretty interesting, because we're talking about intuition here. But what is intuition? Remember we had attention, intention?
Right.
Well, we have emotion and we have awareness, or we have emotion and we have intuition.
Yep.
Let's say the fear versus the intuition. Which one's which? Because fear sounds like a lot of
hold on,
emotion.
You're jumping you're going to fear, man. We don't want to go to.
Is fear not an emotion?
It is, but you have to define an emotion before we talk about them, right?
Okay.
So what is an emotion? Why does it have the word motion in there?
Because it comes.
What does motion do?
Something? Progress.
Moves.
It moves.
Right.
Okay. What does the E represent?
Everything.
Energy in motion.
Okay.
Okay? So go back to the optimization principle. Ask yourself one thing. If the only thing that everything ever does is exchange energy, that means that everything has to be in what to each other?
Relation.
Perfect. Everything has to be in relation to each other, which means that if I'm in relation, if my body, if I'm walking around right now, I have a relationship with what? Right
Your
now, at this
surrounding.
very moment, I have a relationship with it. It is, right? Primarily. And then I can focus my attention with my intentional energies on Dimitri, on Fred, on the audience, all these people out here. Then I got my family and everybody else, right? So I have all these strings of connection, right? These lines of tension, lines of tension, going out in every which direction from me on an energetic level. Okay? Now, think about that. These are lines of attention. Derived from intention would have an attached emotion to them. So what is the emotion? The emotion is the bioelectrical or biochemical interaction or reaction due to those lines of connection.
Okay, so I understand that. That makes sense.
Okay? So that's what an emotion becomes. Now, if I have a line of tension on something that's undefined, that's something I don't know about, what is the emotional reaction?
Fear.
Why is the emotional reaction that?
Self-preservation.
You don't understand.
You don't understand.
So get the fuck out, yeah. Or fight, yeah.
Interesting how that was. Does that make a lot more sense? Is if we can see that our bodies, we have a finite amount of energy here in this physical plane, right? We can't manifest infinite energy. We'd be God. So we have a finite amount of energy. We can do that by deduction. That means that we can have a finite amount of energetic connections, relationships with other people and other things, right?
Right.
Okay. Have you ever seen those people? They look worn down, run down. They're everybody in their life is toxic.
Body's not keeping up with them. Yeah.
The body, well, yeah, because they're draining their energy. Because, hey, I left that relationship 10 years ago, but you never energetically left that relationship. That person is still sucking your energy away.
Living in your mind rent-free.
That's it. This is how it happens. And you have a finite amount of that energy. So you have to be very sacred with the attention that you give, the focus that you give to things, and the relationships you create. And there's actually a really great process out there in the metaphysical practices to get away from these old relationships, these old energetic connections that you might have that you don't even know you do. Now,
I was thinking about, like, to add what you're saying, I was thinking about the more you could, because you could train your mind to do whatever. Like, repetition will help your subconscious make that as the norm. So if you constantly are putting yourself in a outside of your comfort zone, it's not where you're scared, but you're dealing with things that you're not used to, you're essentially telling your subconscious, like, hey, you could show me more of what I don't understand, in an effort not to be worried that I will be scared of it. You know what I mean? So, like, if you could show your subconscious that you're not going to be afraid, and instead you're just going to, try to comprehend, maybe it'll start showing you things that you never thought were possible.
Right.
Because it trusts you, so to speak, to not be scared.
Well, it's a trust-based universe, right?
Right. This is just your subconscious, like in you, the relationship.
Right. But we got to define subconscious. So we'll get the subconscious in a minute. Let's define. So right now, what we're talking about is the physical body and the emotional body, and what these are. Okay. At first, though, we had to understand a little bit more about how we actually interact with other things, because it's the interaction of other things. It's the relationships that we create that produce all these bodies to produce motion and action, to do things, to have bioelectrical and biochemical interactions inside of the physical body, right? Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for the relationships, if we just existed in stillness, then there's just stillness. There's nothing to interact with.
So can intuition be just reflex, like the smelling of the sweat pads, and then your body chemically?
No. Intuition is the emotional equivalent on the spiritual realm. And what you'll find out is I'm trying to tell you what emotion really is, okay? So emotion is, so you have to look at these things as layered. The physical body is layered with the emotional body, and the emotional body is layered with the mental body. The mental body is layered with what?
Consciousness.
The consciousness. The consciousness is layered with the intuitive body, and the intuitive body is layered with the spiritual body. So the spirit is this far away from the physical body. They have no direct connection.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Right. So you have to communicate through all those other ones.
Right. Well, it's so here's the thing. Yes, you have to communicate through all that, but it's the interaction with the external world that produces that level of communication. And that communication occurs through what we know of as mind, as the emergent phenomena of all those systems operating together. Okay, so the physical body is layered to the emotional body. Now, I just said that the physical body is what interacts with reality, right? And it's what's actually, it's what's putting out vibrational energy and bringing in vibrational energy. What is a quantum state? It's vibration. So our physical body is meant to interact with its environment. That's it. It's vibrational interaction with vibrational interaction.
It's an interface.
Tires on the road,
interface.
Right?
That's right. Okay. So if it's interfacing and I have a finite amount of relationships, okay, now how does all this work? Well, let's think about this. If my body is pulling in and putting out information, okay, what's modulating that information? What filters it?
Processing or like distributing, you mean?
Yeah. Well, remember that mental process I taught you all about intention, attention, how you attach emotion to intention, and then you utilize your attention through action, through vibration to express it? Reverse that process. How does my body understand the electromagnetic energy that's being transmitted to me? It's just raw energy, right? It's just vibration. But unless that vibration had some type of significance, some type of intentional energy behind it, some type of conscious thought behind it, some type of intelligence behind it,
There'd be a signature.
There would be a signature, but my body just takes it as
how would your
data.
body interpret that?
Generic.
I don't know.
It's data.
So what breaks it down in my body to say, hey, this might be this or this might be that?
Your spirit or your mind?
Let's take it to a system we all understand.
Please.
Do you have internet connectivity in your house?
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you got a
I
Wi-Fi
think so.
antenna?
Yep.
Okay. The Wi-Fi antenna is transmitting and receiving data, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Does the Wi-Fi antenna know what the hell that data is?
Nope.
What
don't
does
know.
it do
I guess
after
not.
it receives the data?
Sends it to a processor.
Well, actually, it has something built into it that used to be external to it back in the oldie days. This is known as a modem.
Modem. Yeah.
Modulator, demodulator. What the modulator, demodulator does is, so in the Navy, I worked on a system called CDS, and it worked as a +1 binary 1 was a voltage level of +5. A binary -1 was a voltage level of -3, and a 0 was a voltage level of +1. Okay? And so you utilize these different voltage potentials to represent different binary sequences. All right?
Gotcha.
So, what does your Wi-Fi antenna do? You have an RF signal, microwave signal, coming in 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz, right? And it vibrates this little magnetic field metal thing, produces an electrical energy, and that electrical energy is pulsed. The antenna just knows the energy. It's just like, okay, just got a good rhythm going here. The modulator, demodulator takes the sequences of electrical pulses, the carrier wave, and says, I know what this is. I've been trained on these pulses. When I see this pulse, this is an A. When I see this pulse, this is a B. When I see this pulse, this is this. And it modulates the message together. Okay? That modulator, demodulator in your body is called your emotional body. Your emotional body
is biased for everyone's different, and it's biased on what you're attaching your emotions to. So something that could be really significant to you, I'll dismiss, right? Because the modulators are different.
That's all intentional, isn't it? That happens in the mental and the conscious realm, not on the emotional. The emotional is a subsystem of this, right?
Okay.
So think about this: is the emotional body takes in information, it absorbs it, and says, "This is junk. This is good." So if you're in an emotional mood or a state,
you're gonna be
your emotional body is aligned towards a specific vibration. Everything seems to go wrong. Why? Because you're filtering out all the good stuff that's coming in, all the important stuff. Your reticular activating system is kicking in, working with your emotional body to only see everything that's bad, everything that you don't want.
Cherry picking the bad stuff, right.
Because your modulator, demodulator, is only transmitting and receiving what you're aligned to, what you're polarized to. And by the way, this goes for everything that you go out. Oh, are you sad today?
Yeah.
How did you know? Oh, well, I could just see it on you. How did you know? Because every aspect of that person is resonating with that message. Attention, focus, right? It's vibrating out of them in an unspoken language. So your emotional body becomes this filter for the body. The physical body's absorbing all the radiation or all the electromagnetic energy and exerting it, putting it out there. And then your emotional body is modulating it, taking it to your subconscious mind, which is like a RAM memory, random access memory. That's what it is. Your subconscious mind is random access memory. And so what happens is you have this, or it's your ROM, your read-only memory. It's your hard drive, right? And so what happens is your emotional body is deeply integrated into this hard drive. Now notice that between this subconscious mind, your hard drive, and the emotional body, there's no conscious mind there. The conscious mind isn't consciously aware of the communication that's occurring between those two things. So go back to what I was talking about with micro-emotional stimulants. does it start to understand how they can manipulate us with information by producing these small...
They hack you before you know you've been hacked.
There you go. Before you're consciously aware of it.
Right.
Because they understand the 6-body system. So your emotional body is this dumb filter. And I'll say dumb filter because you're not consciously controlling it. It's this dumb filter between you and reality that aligns things based upon the experiences, the emotions experienced, the things that you did not know that you learned and understood, the knowledge base that is stored in your read-only memory. Your emotional body is integrated into that.
Okay.
And so when that signal comes in from your external environment, it says, dude, happy day. It comes in through that filter and it goes and stimulates all those happy memories and says, okay, during these times, this was the type of chemicals that we produced in the body. These were the electrical effects that we had in the body. These are the thoughts that we brought about the bodies. These are called memories. And these are the neural patterns that we're going to stimulate in the body as we experience this. And this is that millionth of a second delay before you actually experience it in reality.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Okay. So then here's this one.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Finish.
Oh, I'll be 2 hours if you let me finish. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm about to walk out of my house. I look at the umbrella. I look outside. It's sunny. I haven't looked at the weather. Something tells me to grab the umbrella. I grab the umbrella. Sure enough, it rains later.
You're talking about intuition. We're not there yet. Intuition is like 3 bodies down here. We have to understand the foundation before we get to intuition, right?
Right.
That's intuition. But that's also your emotional body. Because that's the only way that intuition operates through is through your emotional body. This is why we have something called empaths.
Okay. What's an empath?
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So we have the emotional body. So now we know what the physical and the emotional body are in the sense of like a computer system. So what's the mental body then?
Person behind the keyboard?
No. It's the computer. It's the hardware of the computer. It's the integrative structure that you have. It's your hard drive. It's your memory. It's your keyboard. It's your monitor. It's your web browser. It's everything operating within that computer.
Okay.
Okay. And now the mental body operates on all these different variations of levels. There's different levels of optimization for each person because we all don't exist and we all don't evolve in the same way, right? But the mental body...
Everybody has different firmware. Everybody has different features. You name it. Yeah.
So now the mental body integrates with the conscious body. Now the conscious body is the mental equivalent on the spiritual or the ethereal realm. Okay? The consciousness, awareness, is basically the mental processes, the system of processing everything on that realm of existence. Okay? And so that integrates with your mental body. And when that integrates with how?
Because it's responsive to what your emotions are?
Well, I mean, we have to pull it all together, but it happens at conception.
I think I'm a little bit confused about this different layers. Like you said, you're on the ethereal realm. What does that even mean, the ethereal realm? Where is
the spirit realm? The astral realm. However you want to perceive it.
So
the
like
astral
right now,
realm is like an intermediate realm between where you actually go and what actually is.
Where we go. So are we there now?
Yeah, absolutely. You exist in 2 realities right now simultaneously. And what happens is those 2 realities formulate something that you know of as reality, which is an emergent state of existence. Emergent meaning it doesn't exist. This state of existence would never exist if those 2 bodies did not come together. Those 2 realities did not come together.
Most people just aren't aware of it.
That's right. So another way, Dimitri, we were talking about the double slit experiment. We're talking about the wave function, how the wave function actually collapses. Okay? Think about the physical realm as the wave function. It exists in a state of probability of wave functionality. The ethereal realm exists in a state of what? Of consciousness, of awareness. When those 2 meet, you have the collapsing of the wave function. That's what mind is. Mind is the emergent state, the state that would not exist any otherwise unless those 2 systems came together. Okay?
Okay.
But you need these other bodies in order to integrate. So now, after the conscious body comes into play, we get the intuitive body. Now, here's the thing: is if your current reality is emergent, yours, mine's, Fred's, it's all emergent, which means that the moment that the spirit separates from this physical body, the physical body goes back to being wave probability.
Okay.
And our ethereal body goes back to whatever it was before. Okay? This emergent reality disappears. It's gone.
Yeah.
So let's think about this.
Was it really real?
Well, yeah, but that's a different story. This is what I want to think about here. Intuition is to emotion as the mental body is to consciousness. So intuition is the interconnectedness, the filter of reality. Okay? The filter of reality. I said interconnectedness, and there's a reason I said that. But it's the filter of reality.
Okay.
Of the spiritual, the ethereal, that realm. Okay? Now, do you remember the argument of space and counter space? How even space is dualistic and existed in an expansive format and an implosive format. It means everything is compressed inside of itself, basically at the Planck's length, 10 to the negative 35 meters. And this is
That's
why...
your intuition.
Your intuition exists in there, which means that your intuition is immediately interconnected through entanglement with all relationships that you've ever had throughout all your lives.
So Dimitri asked the question, I look outside, I'm about to walk out the door, it's sunny, gut tells me, grab the umbrella. I think what you're experiencing is you're experiencing the rain down the road, you feel it. You've experienced rain on yourself your whole life. You know all those little sensations. Yeah. At least that's my understanding.
Your physical body senses rain. Who knows? Maybe it's your intuitional body, right? Okay. Maybe you're connected with someone 50 miles away when the storm was moving due east. Your emotional body is interconnected with them through entanglement, right?
Right.
They just said, oh my God, it's rain and it's moving east. They didn't know that, but they perceived it peripheral subconsciously. That integrates into that system of energy information exchange. That sends it to your intuitional body because you're directly connected to that person through a direct relationship of energy exchange. Mm-hmm. That gut feeling comes across as what? And this is why you have a gut feeling. By the way, gut is the Germanic word for why we get gut. Gut is God. Okay, your gut feeling.
There's like 100,000. And what is it? The neurons, like almost like brain cells in your gut. Yeah.
Right, but think about why you get this gut feeling. Because it's spontaneous. It came out of nowhere. You birthed it.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Where do you birth things?
I don't birth things.
Well, guess what? You have a chakral point.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Called your sacral chakra. And guess what it's for?
Make birth and stuff.
Connection to your intuitive body. It's also where your kundalini sits.
What is it? What's a kundalini?
Kundalini is your serpent energy. It's your spirit energy. It's that energy that flows. You know, I was watching Billy Carson the other day. He goes, every cell has 1 volt, 0.01 volts of electricity.
Like I heard that.
We're walking around as nuclear bombs, like 1.2 gigawatts, right? It's amazing. Yeah, right? But think about that. Is that energy is real. The kundalini energy inside you, your chi, is real.
Electricity, too.
Right. But it's an emergent energy that occurs because of the integration of these two fields of reality, these two forces of reality. So now let's break this down a little bit more. After our intuitive body, we have our spiritual body, and this is the physical counterpart in the spiritual realm. This is what we are in the spiritual realm. This is what takes in the signaling of the spiritual realm. Okay. Now the question is if those two things separate, do you exist in one or the other?
You exist in both at the same time.
Right, but we know that if the spirit leaves the body does what?
Dies.
Dies.
So what leaves the body? Something leaves the body.
That's right. And so there's the seventh body.
Huh.
I'll leave that up to interpretation.
Yeah, because that's what we do. Almost like what we said about God yesterday. If we're not in our body, how could we be?
Well, but also there's this, is that, remember how I told you we have a right-sided universe, a right-handed universe? That means that energy is just a little bit skewed in one direction than the other. Energy exchange always happens from a high to a low system.
Right.
So doesn't it make sense that energy has to leave one system and it'll go to another? So if we're talking about the convergence of these two realities, the spiritual realm and the physical realm, right? Which way is, if the body dies here, the higher energetic realm is the spirit realm. And that's where the body's leaving to.
Okay. I'm with it.
Okay, so what is intuition then? What's an empath?
It's your emotions. No, it's your mind or consciousness interpreting what your emotions are telling it.
Okay, so
through the senses of your body. So your body takes the info, your emotions they dilute it, or they like put it into blocks, conceptualize it, and then that's what it is.
Well, an empath really is someone who feels the emotional exchange of another person in real time.
Right.
So, for instance, I could feel your sorrow, your sadness, or your happiness and your joy. And we're all empathic.
The person who's in the room that, like, 2 miles down the road, somebody is about to come to where that person is. They'll feel the energy come.
Yep.
They'll feel a shift. Like,
yeah, that's empath. That's empathic. As well as you walk into a room and you know something bad happened. Right? But there's certain people out there that are hypersensitive to that. And they literally go into depressive states because they feel they feel these energies of everybody all around them all the time. And so the reason is because what is the only thing that happens in the universe?
Energy exchange.
Energy exchange. What is the only thing that what has to happen in order for that to happen? You have to do what with all these other systems?
Interact,
produce a relationship with them. So if the only thing that ever happens is energy exchange, and you have to interact with your reality and produce relationships with it, and you have a finite amount of energy, basically these long relationship strands or strings or tensions to put out there, okay? What are the three parts of energy? What are the three levels of energy exchange when it comes to a conscious being? What do I mean by that? If energy is going to flow, can it flow through me? Can I just be a passage for energy? Can I just let energy go past me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I take your energy if I have a higher energy system? Mm-hmm. Can I give you energy if I wanted to?
Probably.
Take and give, that's two different things, right?
Yeah.
Also, how about this? Can someone take energy from you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we just talked about 4 different processes of conscious energy exchange in relationships. You can allow energy to pass through you. You can allow energy to be taken from you. You can give energy to people, or they can steal your energy.
Or you could steal theirs, essentially.
Now, what is that called?
What?
Energy
Stealing people's
vampires.
energy?
We've all heard of them.
Energy vampires, yeah.
Yep.
Mostly always narcissists, right?
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Okay.
And what are they really?
Scared.
So
The inverse of an empath.
there you go.
The expat.
Well, they are focusing on one of those 4 methodologies. Now, what's an empath? An empath is, and don't take this the wrong way for empaths out there, is someone who has not got full control over those empathic channels. They're overloaded.
Do you think we're all empathic to an extent?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%. We're all empathic. Absolutely 100%. And so empaths, right, they have this deep connection, this deep empathy for humanity, this deep compassion. And that brings them high. So think about like levels and barriers, right? think about some people have these strong emotional walls, like a border wall. But sometimes you go into Rio Grande and the border wall is just a step over the river.
Yeah.
Okay, an empath has a very, very short wall, small wall to that world, which means that they're more hypersensitive and receptive to it. And that overloads their channels a lot more, which means that they have to go back in their life and they have to clean out all those other lines of tension more often. A lot of them don't know this, so they don't do that. They fall into deep depressions.
Yeah, they're manic depressives, all sorts of...
It's good that I know that now, because I could recommend.
But think about this. This is what's happening is basically think about it as phone lines that are getting tied up. Right? There's a million phone lines that you have, and, you know, most of us are walking with 100,000 of them that are utilized in a lifetime, and empaths, their number is popular. It's 967-5309, and everybody's just calling it. And it's like, I can't do this. They got to go in there and disconnect some of those phone lines. And there's actually a process to do this. It's a metaphysical process. And I call it book burning. Basically what you have is a scrapbook, notepad, something like that. And you go out there and you write the relationships that you want to let go of.
Okay.
Or even the ones that you do not know of. And you write it all down. Feeling and emotion, something of that nature. You write it down on the notepad. You intentionalize it, right? The whole dollhouse, storyboard, attention, intention. Put it onto the paper. And then you go into the backyard and you return it to its elements through fire.
And it works.
And then the other part of it is in a brand new leatherback bound journal, you write what you tend to fill those lines with. Because if you have a plan for those emotional lines, nobody can steal them from you.
I have to elaborate on that. Wait.
Well,
you have to fill up.
If you empty something out, you got to make room. You've already made room for something, so you have to invite the right thing in, because then anybody can just jump in.
Now think about an energy vampire. What do? Are some people immune to energy vampires?
Some people, yeah.
How are they immune to them? They've already allocated their energy and they have a strong defensive system against it.
Right. Stronger
so
than
you
the
need
vampires.
to allocate that energy prior to destroying those channels. This is how negative entities like Lindsay Sharon was talking about, this is how they latch onto you and shit. Is these empty channels a relationship?
Gotcha. It's like just an open port for them to come in.
That's right. It's
you
exactly
haven't closed
what it
is. by like letting it go, so to speak.
Yep. And so this is how. So think about this: have you ever had someone who's like dying for your attention? Hey, look at me! I'm over here. Look at me! I'm over here. And you just let it go through you. You're stoic. That's a trained skill, is it not?
Yeah, it's not easy.
That's called a pass-through.
Okay.
It's hard to allow that energy to pass through you without having it in emotion. That's a pass-through.
Yeah, I mean, of course, especially if it's something not malicious. You want to engage. You have to tell yourself no.
Yep.
Ignore it.
Then you have a giver.
Okay.
What's the only thing you should ever give people with energy?
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Period.
Right. The strongest one, right?
Yep. Gratitude. The only thing you should ever give people in the sense of energy is gratitude. You want to heal them? Give them gratitude. You want to love them? Give them gratitude.
Yeah, and shame is the worst. Is the lowest vibration.
So,
okay.
When I'm thinking about this, is imagine for a moment that there is a line, like a rope that connects you and I. Is that rope have a lot of tension on it, or is it like boom? Right? How is that relationship? What is the status of that relationship? When was the last time that communication happened? If the rope's still connected, then we got to do something about it. So here's the thing: is I can connect to you right now, okay, and I can give you energy, and I can take energy. You ever seen those people? They steal other people's souls. The men who stare at goats stop the heart. How do you think all this works? I'm explaining it. This is how it all works. This is how it's all interconnected. This is quantum entanglement.
Do you think that's a real practice?
Absolutely.
Like turning into ghosts, I mean?
Turning into goat. What?
Didn't you just say that?
The Men Who Stare at Goats is a
Oh,
movie.
the men who... No, I thought you were talking about the voodoo and like...
Oh,
okay,
no.
okay.
The Men Who Stare at Goats, where they killed the goat with their mind.
Right, that, yeah.
Okay, so you and I have a relationship connection. I can take your energy, I can give you energy, I can allow your energy to pass through me. You could do the same thing.
Okay.
Right? But you can't take my energy if I don't give it to you.
Right. So now I can trick it out of you by making you afraid.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Oh, no one's right. Yeah, there you go. Now fear and violence and all these other things make ourselves susceptible.
Right.
Because all it is information being decoded by our
Right.
body, raw energy, electromagnetic energy coming in, being filtered or polarized by our emotional body that goes into our mental body, which is basically the stimulation of, oh my God, this is what's actually happening out there.
So if I know your filter, if I know your specific filter, I could then manipulate information to make you scared, whereas John wouldn't be scared.
I don't know why you're focusing on manipulation, but yes.
Well, because if we're talking about archons, we're talking about the things
The
that
evil people,
do.
yeah, the evil beings.
Right.
Yeah.
That's I'm not focused on
Now they
manipulation.
have AIs that already do that.
What?
Now they have AIs, algorithms built in to the social media construct that already do all this. They go out there and they find all those micro emotional triggers that you need that make you push that button to buy that thing. To go visit that
Specifically you
page.
or just anyone?
Specific to
everyone.
you. Well, no, it's everyone, but it's specific to you.
Right. Wow.
So, energy vampires. What do?
Yeah, like okay, so I was going to ask you that too. Like energy vampires. So if vampires need blood to live. Energy vampires need energy to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all need energy to survive, but we typically get that energy from the ether. But we can take it from
Right.
other living beings. What do you think food is?
Energy.
Yeah, it's the metabolic processing of that same energy. It's just in physical form.
Why do they need to steal energy? Why do they need to vampirize energy? Can't they just like produce it like we do, like normally?
Yeah, they could. But here's the thing. Have you ever like ran psychic tests with a group of people and you find that one person's really good at sending information, one person's really good at receiving information?
Right.
Right? Because all of our systems that are at different levels of optimization. Some of us are better at receiving, some of us are better at sending. Same thing with energy relationships. An energy vampire is someone that's really, really, really good at receiving.
And not knowing when to give back.
And not knowing when to give back and not knowing how to sever the connections because they don't even know anything about what we're talking about here. They just do it naturally because it's
they know that they're an energy vampire?
Maybe they don't.
Some do.
Some do.
Some don't though? Really?
Some don't.
That sucks. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
they just think they are the way they are. That is same thing with an empath. Like some acknowledge it and they realize it. Then there are others that don't, and they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Huh.
Equal sides. It's like they're polar opposites of each other on the ends of the extremes.
Interesting.
So, how do you protect yourself from these said people? You learn the art.
Yeah.
Now,
To catch a monster.
Now, Dimitri, this is where it gets really interesting. What's telepathy? Everything that I just explained to me telepathy.
Right. Do you want me to explain it to you?
Yeah, explain me telepathy. After I just said a foundation of knowledge. Explain to me telepathy as it fits into that model.
It's the third realm. Well, so there's the body, there's the spirit, then there's the third, not the third realm, but the body that separates into three bodies. It's that part of me talking to that part of you.
Okay, that's a good perspective of it. I looked at it in a different level. I looked at telepathy as a form of communication, right? Remember this relationship that we have of energy that's connected through this entangled spiritual realm?
Right.
We're already connected. We're already exchanging energy, remember that form and shape that the energy can take?
Right.
I can only know you
As far as
as far as I know myself. So if I know what level you are on, I can send you a message through that connection. I can exchange data through that connection, and I can send you a message like, let me just say, I'm going to write it down. Let me just say this. And I can send that information. And guys, we did not pre-plan this, so whatever he says, I don't know. But I can send that information. And you'll get it. That's telepathy. Remember how to do this? Just close your mind without thinking. Don't let imagination kick in. The first thing that you see when you close your mind.
M. I just saw the letter M, malarkey or matchstick. I don't...
Try it again, man.
You pop quiz me, man.
Yeah, well, it's good to put us on the spot for these types of things.
Clear your mind. Moving. I don't know. I just keep seeing
I want to
M.
see if anybody else there gets it. Okay. Who am I connected with right now that is receiving that message?
I saw a scale. Like old school scale.
I see moving matchstick M. I just see the letter M. I don't know why.
Well, but you're also in a room full of a whole bunch of distractions.
Yeah.
So that's why what I do is I do this. I simply just close and open. If your eyes are closed longer than 1 second, you went too long.
Okay.
Okay? So it's really simple. You just take a deep breath. Exhale, close, first object that comes in your mind, open.
Okay.
And do that a few times. I see a dirt bike for some reason.
I see a sail. Like
You see a
boat sail.
Okay, keep on going with it.
Boat sail.
Shape, texture, size.
Triangular. Like big triangular, like one of those, like, you know, that you like that. Like you have to manipulate with your hand. Like almost like a what is it, windsurfing sail kind of?
Okay. So you see a triangle.
Right.
Remember, I don't know you, so I'm not like, I don't know your neurological patternization. So the things that you're getting from me. So who's this out here saying mountain green? They said triangular mountain green. That's a good one.
Right? Like people are on the money sometimes. Like it's crazy.
Pyramid.
Now you saw an M, and the letter I focused on was M. I
mean,
thought pyramid and triangle. And the letter I focused on was M. And so things that have significance, right?
That's pretty crazy. Did you really focus on M? Because that's all I saw.
Yeah, I did. The letter, because you have to look at the word and break it down. Pyramid.
Yeah.
Where does the word actually come from?
Fire, pyra.
Fire and mid. What does mid mean?
In between.
Middle, yeah. Middle, pyra. Middle fire.
Middle fire.
So a pyramid literally means middle fire. Why does that make no fucking sense at all? Fudging sense. Sorry, YouTube.
It makes a bunch of sense to me now because we got a bunch of earth stacked on top of each other. It's the middle. It's the middle
how about
fire.
this?
Where's the king's chamber located in it?
In the middle?
If it was an old energy generator, then, I mean, kind of makes sense.
Pyramid, right? Okay. Did you know that when God kicked Cain out of the Garden of Evil, out of the Garden of Eden, he put 2 cherubims at the gate to guard it, so he couldn't come back. Do you know what a cherubim is?
Yeah, it's like a little the kid, like the little like a cupid, right? Or is that a cherub? I'm thinking
that's a cherub.
Well, cherub. Cherubim.
An archer angel,
should translate the sword of flaming sword of fire or something in that context.
Oh. That's what Jesus is supposed to have when he comes back.
Not Sarah.
On the horse.
Cherubim. CH.
Like in the when Jesus comes back to fight the demons that escaped from hell in Exodus, I think he's supposed to have like a metal hot rod that he like kills
Well,
him with.
Ezekiel, right?
Right. I guess it is Ezekiel. I don't know. It's the one when he comes back, like the third time. But he's like all badass on a horse now, and he's like a warrior.
Yeah, cherub flaming sword. So that's what it is. Sorry, cherub, not cherubim. And so, according to the Bible, the flaming sword, the Hebrew lahat cherub, or literally flame of whirling fire, was entrusted to the cherubim by God to guard the gates of paradise after Adam and Eve were banished. Genesis 3:24. So sorry, when Adam and Eve were banished, he put the cherubim, I don't know how to pronounce that. So
Whatever.
cherubim. There you go. Sorry.
Cherubim.
Which is a flaming sword.
I always thought it was like these little angel things with this. Like
It is
Cupid
an angel with a flaming sword.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is we're trying to understand different cultures, different words, just from etymology. So, a cherubim or a cherub is a flame of whirling fire. What's a pyramid?
It's middle fire.
Middle fire. Okay.
The guardian between.
What is just north of the Great Pyramids of Giza?
Sphinx?
Abydos.
I have no idea what that is.
Abydos is Abydos. You ever seen Abydos Temple? You should check it out. Abydos is laid out. It was a luscious garden on the inside, and it was laid out in the same 7 sections of the human body, representing each one of the 7 chakra points.
Was that the Garden of Eden then?
Protected by the flaming swords.
The pyramids.
Just to the north.
And now it's a desert, right? Whoa. That's heavy, man. That's crazy. That means possible, because some people say that Egyptians didn't even build the pyramids because the Sultan had them remove all the limestone to build the palace for him.
So, dude out here, a dead rucker, says, read the Emerald Tablets. I've read the Emerald Tablets.
As above, so below. Done.
I've
What's
read
next?
all the words. If we want to talk
We
about
wrote
the
books
Emerald,
on it.
yeah, we want to talk about the Emerald Tablets that were channeled. Sorry, don't do it. My interpretation of the esotericism is hijacked in the late 19th century, all the mystery schools in the early 20th century, that a lot of the information, especially including the Golden Dawn information, is really, really misleading. And it's meant to be misleading for very specific reasons.
There's a conspiracy theorist that believes that we're not in the year 2021 because back around the year 1000, the people that it was not Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Was it Nebuchadnezzar?
Probably.
He wanted to be the ruler when it turned to be 1000, and it was really like 700. So he when all the books are still being made, he was like, never mind, guys, it's actually the year 900 now.
No. So this was Pope.
It was 3 people.
This was the Julian calendar, when they moved to the Julian calendar, and they had to make up for all of the space in between due to the leap years, because they had the old calendar, which was really bad. The Gregorian calendar.
It's not that.
Yeah, the Middle Ages never actually happened.
Right.
Yeah, the 500 years of the Middle Ages, of the Dark Ages, never actually happened.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Basically, Amicus, you know the theory I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've heard it before.
They lied, basically.
Basically what it was is that they had to make up for 500 years because the Gregorian calendar is so off from the Julian calendar, okay? And they had to account for leap years, and it accounted like 500 excess years. And so all they did is they just added that into the time.
Cool.
And they mimicked certain things.
Yep.
They just changed names, mimic histories to fit and fill.
I disagree that Thoth is a tyrant. I would argue that point.
Thoth is a tyrant?
I would say Thoth is the god that never should have been.
Yeah.
How about that? Thoth is a god that never should have been, because Hermes Trismegistus never wished to be deified by the Egyptian people. He never wished to be a god as per the Egyptian people. They deified him.
Prometheus.
What about Prometheus?
Thoth would be a Prometheus.
It's equivalent. Yeah, it's Greek.
Yeah.
Well, Greek equivalent to Hermes, the Roman equivalent to Prometheus, I believe. Yep. But the torchbearer, and now through the mystery schools, you hear the torch of knowledge that is exchanged from generation to generation. This is the torch of Prometheus. This is also the female variation of Prometheus, Libertas, who holds the same torch. Prometheus, in many modern religious cultures, is actually perceived as Satan.
Huh.
Lucifer.
This is where fire and brimstone.
Right. The deception.
Yep.
Huh.
Well, it goes to Lucifer, the light, the false light, the deceptive light. Prometheus killed liked appetizers. I think he did. I like this rogue gamer dude. He's in there he's like trolling it up, but with like cool, smart quips. I like it. It's really Amicus in the backdrop. Like,
nope, not me. Not me.
Very cool. This is fun. Like, I like this kind of talk. We could just talk about whatever you guys. But was that like informational? Did you guys like get something out of that?
I got a little bit. I mean, I kind of knew what intuition was. Well, I mean, I have my idea of what intuition is to begin with. You definitely broke it down into a lot of different subsections that I didn't know were there before, but it totally makes sense. I can't like argue against them. You know what I mean? The sound logic. I mean, a lot of things like that are complex like that. This is why I like to bring them up as topics, is because I kind of just let them. If it ain't broke, don't fix it type stuff. Like it's working, so why don't I dig deep into it? Because then I might screw myself up overthinking stuff. But it definitely helps. I just want to be able to basically everyone is intuitive to a certain degree, right? Because we're all connected. So I just want to make it so that it's like an easier path to get on. I don't understand the ending, the end all be all, but just to put somebody on the path of like, hey, this is intuition. This is how it works. Now it's up to you.
You don't. So how about this? What connection do you have with your other three bodies?
Awareness? No.
So you live in this emergent, right? This emergent state of existence.
Imagination.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And the only realm that you experience is the one of the lesser energy state of which the higher energy state is moving into, right?
Okay.
Which means that you experience the three physical bodies. Well, the counter space, or the astral or spiritual realm, contains the other three areas. Right? Now, are you conscious of that?
Not really. I don't think.
Well, maybe you should be.
Right.
Maybe know yourself.
Know thyself.
A little bit better.
So hang on. So what you're experiencing in your physical body, essentially your spiritual body is the opposite. So everything you're not. So your shadow work type stuff.
Say that again. Shadow work stuff.
All right. So everything that you're experiencing. Okay. So like, how do you do shadow work? How do you find your shadow? Your shadow is usually, well, they say that it's usually the things that you don't like in other people. You're projecting because you're never going to show yourself your shadow.
Well,
because like
every time I chase my shadow, he runs away.
Right. Exactly. Seriously. Because you're hiding it from yourself because you don't want it to be evident.
I was making a joke, but
I know, but it makes sense.
You're asking how do you access the spiritual realm?
Right. Consciously.
How do you access those? How do you know yourself beyond the three physical bodies? Which we also know is controlled by the left brain. And the right brain is controlled by the three spiritual bodies.
Oh, so you just paint more.
Well, here's the thing.
Hemisync.
Well, how about this? Remember, what are the physical body is your direct connection to all the signaling information in this realm and reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you have no more signaling?
You're meditating or you're asleep.
Your emotional body has nothing to modulate, demodulate. Your mental realm has nothing to computate, which means that the only thing that should be in existence at that point is what? You're conscious, you're intuitive, and you're spiritual. And most of us get to that consciousness and go, oh, what the hell is that? And we leave. And we think that's God. You haven't even met your spiritual self yet.
Oh, he's nice.
So, it's when you go to certain trances and states of meditation, certain of understandings how to regress away from the sensational world, that you can enter these states and learn. So here's the thing, is now that you know what it is, now that you know that the astral realm is the realm of conscious things, that beyond that is a realm of intuitive things, way before you ever get to the realm of spiritual things.
That's heavy.
It
Intuitive
is.
things. Like they're just all pure intuition. It's crazy.
Have you ever been in a meditative state where you're in out of body experience and everything's manifesting in front of you? Everything
There's no
you
more
think
questions to
about
ask.
is happening, right? Everything that you're thinking about is happening, right? Welcome to intuition, the interconnectedness of all points. Where the moment you think, your subconscious mind connects, boom, there it is.
So intuition is not predicting that it's going to rain. Intuition is making it rain and thus grabbing the umbrella.
I don't know.
My belief it's going to rain so much that I'm going to grab this umbrella.
I thought it
sunny.
was that the neighbor down the road who felt the raindrops was connected with you because you had that one Saturday night with her, and you guys just never broke the connection, and intuitively she shared that information with you.
How do you know about my neighbor?
I'm smart.
I didn't write that down anywhere. Name's Christina.
Intuition.
Intuition.
Yeah, right.
Seriously, intuition.
I know, I get it. It's funny, but it's fucking true.
Right? So think about it. What is intuition? It's the interconnectedness. It's the entanglement. It's the mental entanglement. Right? It's just like your emotional body. It goes deep into your subconscious on your spiritual level, and it's integrated into the spiritual realm, which knows all, is all.
There's no questions, right?
That's right. And so when you experience that whole realm,
okay,
there's no questions to ask.
Is there... Okay, so does your subconscious exist on a physical level?
Does your subconscious exist on a physical level?
Technically, no, right?
So I tried to put this together one day, and I got a lot of information on it from my sources. And what I got is that all of this stuff is actually integrated through DNA. And that your lineage of energetic memory and all your energetic connections are actually stored in junk DNA.
Okay. And you're constantly updating that, right? Essentially,
And you're constantly updating that. And every new incarnation that you go into on this planet holds all the last.
So you can kind of access it. So it weighs on you, but not too heavily, I guess?
Yeah. So think about it like this. Do infants have a base operating system?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Babies have a basic operating system? Where does that come from?
Eat and poop. Oh, okay. Yeah, instinct. Right. What's
It's
animal? So that's animal
biological. What the hell does that mean? It means that there's information encoded within the conscious system. So think about this. The baby's in the womb.
He's learning everything through DNA.
It's learning everything in a fluidic sac.
Right.
Suppressed by massive amounts of fat and skin.
Shit. Sensory deprivation. So he's literally experiencing no physical.
Ah.
They're getting a download.
There you go. So now
9
the
months.
infant is in a state, where everything it experiences in the physical reality is muffled and distorted.
Right.
Then it's birthed. Then he or she is birthed. And then all of a sudden, oh my God! The room changes to, oh my God, you're so beautiful! And all this language and voices. And the baby reacts. To what?
Ow, it hurts.
No, the baby reacts to what?
The physical stimulation.
Emotion.
The interconnectedness of the relationship of everybody around it. Not to the language, not to the words being perpetuated at it, but the vibrations of the words, because it has a basal operating system.
So intent, essentially. Like how you're saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
Versus you actually saying, yeah.
No, not
course,
how.
yeah.
No, not how you're saying what you're saying. It is how you're saying what you're saying, but it's like a radio wave, like an AM radio wave or an FM radio wave. They have what's called a carrier signal attached to them, right? So a radio wave is this big wave that's either frequency modulated or amplitude modulated. It traverses. It gets picked up by the antenna. The antenna shunts it down to a system that takes it in and modulates and demodulates. And what it's modulating and demodulating is a second signal that is attached to the primary signal. Because I don't know if people understand this, but a radio wave actually, or your Wi-Fi waves, radio waves, they all are like this. So you guys all know what a sine wave is?
Yes. It looks like smooth and sounds smooth.
Okay. So think about a radio wave propagating like that, okay? That's actually how a radio wave propagates. And it's kind of twisting around itself. In between those waves is a smaller carrier. There's a smaller waveform. That's the data.
It's DNA you're drawing.
No. It's not DNA. This is a wave. Think about this as like an FM radio station broadcasting. The big wave is the FM radio station. The in-between vibrations that are resonating in between the wave, that's the information that's being sent. When you talk, the same thing's happening. Talking is a carrier wave of information. But in between that wave is the vibrational energy being sent from me to you.
I get it. So on a larger scale that you just said, that's what DNA is.
On a larger scale, that's what DNA is.
It stores the information. Over incarnation.
DNA is the carrier signal of which the information is stored in between, in vibrational states.
Wow. I almost don't want to know it all. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's too much. And not because like I'm afraid of it. It's just that it's gonna be a burden. Like if you I want to know the answers, all the answers. Like, dude, are you sure? Because that's a lot.
So Rogue Gamer said I sound gay or trans. Why is that, Rogue Gamer? And make sure, Rogue Gamer, by the way, you better be subscribing to this channel. I'm not gonna ban. We don't ban people, buddy. We've been censored from every channel on the internet. You can't even imagine.
We are the ban.
But I am definitely not gay or trans. Because I look at it, don't take it the wrong way, because you're entitled to whatever you want to do in your own life. But I look at those things as unbalances within the duality, and maybe the gayness is something that has to be manifested, right? Maybe it is. Maybe that's what trans is. Maybe that's what a trans person is. That duality has to be unbalanced in this lifetime to counterbalance a former lifetime, right? We don't know. Very well could be.
There's nothing they can do. They can't help it.
And I don't judge, but for me, definitely not. But I'm very well connected to my divine feminine, and I'm very well connected to my masculine aspect. And I have a very good relationship with both. And I've learned to know myself very deeply and integratively.
Nice. The one talking and explaining.
You see what he?
I love you. Just drinking and looking for reaction. See you at the Biden camp, bro. Love you. Awesome.
I knew he was gonna say some shit like that.
See you at the Biden camp. Awesome. All right, guys.
9 times out of 10, that's what it is.
What's that?
9 times out of 10, it's a trying to get an impulse, a reaction.
Yeah.
There's your micro
emotional stimulants.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Wow, shit! It's been an hour and 20 minutes already.
Yeah, we rocked this one.
I didn't even fucking.
Anybody hear the class clown back in the day?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
That's similar principle.
Yep.
The minute you get reaction, you're like, "Oh, this is crack." Yes.
But what are you doing with all that energy?
Give me that shit.
You're taking that energy, aren't you?
Yeah.
shit.
You
Yeah.
use micro
yeah.
emotional stimulants to overwhelm people's emotional system so they give you energy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dimitri, just shut up already.
Comedians,
Yep.
More.
on-stage performers, actors, artists.
Yep.
It's a drug, man. It's a drug,
It is.
legit. It's I understand why people are like obsessed with it
Mm-hmm.
because it is a good feeling. Like even when I did stand up, like my jokes weren't that funny, but like I got a couple of my first time never doing stand up. I was like open mic, I got a couple giggles, and I was like, "Where do I sign up? When's the next? Let's do this!" Like I was like, I love this. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, if you haven't checked us out yet, please head on over to. It's really easy. You don't have to do www. You don't have to do anything like that. Just redpills.tv. That is our website. You'll find us there. It's also known as redpillpodcast.com, but redpills.tv. You can do it with an S or a Z. It doesn't really matter. You can check us out there. All of our shows are on there. All of our guests, all of our hosts. Everything is linked up. You can check it out. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel here and subscribe to all these channels if this is your first time watching. Also, go on over there to redpills.tv. We have multiple different podcasts. Conversations on the Fringe this week with Robert Wagner, Lucid Dreaming. This is going to be a great conversation. He's one of the foremost experts in the planet for lucid dreaming. I'm trying to fly through the book here. But and then tomorrow, Daily Dose. Sunday, we have The Blonde American. So a lot of cool things coming up for you. A lot more new shows coming out as well. Much love, respect. God bless. Take care. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Good night.